The busy street was loud that afternoon, horns honking, people rushing, children laughing. But cutting through the noise was one sound that pierced hearts more than anything else. A small, trembling voice crying, "Please, Mommy, please give me back my crutch." Heads turned. Some people stopped. A frail little girl, no more than 8 years old, sat on the pavement. Her clothes were old, her hair messy, and her cheeks stained with tears. One of her tiny legs was twisted, weaker than the other, and beside her lay the single wooden crutch that helped her walk. Her mother, thin, tired, and desperate, clutched the crutch tightly in her hands, refusing to give it back. The little girl reached for it, but the mother pulled it away. "Stop crying, Emily," the woman whispered harshly, her own eyes red. "We need money for food. Someone will buy this. We'll eat tonight." The crowd murmured. Some people shook their heads, others walked away pretending not to see. It was just another tragedy on the streets, and most people had long stopped paying attention to the pain of strangers. But then, through the crowd, came a man who could not ignore it. He wore an expensive suit, his shoes polished, his car parked just across the road. To everyone else, he looked like the kind of man who had everything: wealth, status, power. His name was Daniel Cross, a self-made millionaire. But behind the sharp jawline and confident stride was a heart that still carried scars from his own childhood. When he saw the little girl begging for her crutch, something inside him snapped. The millionaire's memory. Daniel knew what it felt like to be helpless. He had grown up with nothing: an abusive father, a sick mother, nights spent hungry, mornings spent working odd jobs just to survive. He had once been the child crying for help while the world walked past. That memory haunted him still. So when he saw Emily clutching at her mother's arm, begging through tears, Daniel couldn't stay away. He pushed through the crowd and crouched down beside her. "What's going on here?" he asked softly. Emily looked up, her big brown eyes filled with fear and sadness. "She's going to sell it, my crutch. Please, mister. I can't walk without it." Her mother's shoulders slumped. "I don't want to, but we haven't eaten in 2 days. My daughter doesn't understand. I'm just trying to keep her alive." Daniel's throat tightened. He could see both sides: desperation in the mother, heartbreak in the child. Poverty had turned love into survival, the turning point. Daniel reached for his wallet, ready to solve this with money. But something stopped him. He realized this wasn't just about giving them food for one night. That little girl needed hope. She needed dignity, not just charity. So he stood up and said, "Come with me." The mother hesitated. The crowd gasped. But there was something about his voice, firm, compassionate, that made her follow. He led them to a nearby cafe, ordered hot meals, and let Emily clutch her crutch tightly as they ate. For the first time in days, Emily smiled. The taste of warm soup lit up her face, and she whispered, "Thank you, mister." But Daniel wasn't done. The challenge. Over the next days, Daniel couldn't get Emily out of his mind. He visited the family again. He learned the mother's name was Sarah. She had once been a teacher, but life's tragedies, her husband's death, crushing debt, and her daughter's illness had left her broken and unemployed. The biggest challenge wasn't just money, it was hopelessness. Sarah didn't believe she could ever stand back up again. Emily's health required medical care they couldn't afford. And society had already turned its back. Daniel made a decision. "I'm not just going to help you survive," he told Sarah one night. "I'm going to help you live again." The climb. It wasn't easy. Sarah was suspicious. She had been betrayed before, promised help that never came. But slowly, with Daniel's support, she began to rebuild. He paid for Emily's medical checkups, got her fitted with a proper orthopedic crutch, and introduced Sarah to friends who helped her find part-time teaching work. But there were setbacks. Some days, Sarah broke down, convinced she was too broken to start again. Some days, Emily's condition worsened, and the hospital bills scared her mother back into despair. And Daniel himself faced criticism. People accused him of using the family for publicity, saying millionaires only helped when cameras were watching. But Daniel never stopped. He remembered his own mother, who had once told him, "If you can ease one child's tears in this world, you've already changed it." The breakthrough. Months passed. Emily grew stronger. Her doctor said with proper therapy, she might one day walk without a crutch. Sarah began teaching again, small classes at first, then more as her confidence returned. And through it all, Daniel didn't just give them money. He gave them respect. He reminded Sarah of her worth. He cheered for Emily's progress as if she were his own daughter. One sunny afternoon, during a community charity event Daniel organized, Emily stood on stage. She held her crutch, but instead of crying, she smiled brightly at the crowd. "This," she said in her small but brave voice, "isn't just my crutch anymore. It's my reminder that people can stand again even when they fall." The crowd erupted in applause. Sarah wept in the front row. Daniel stood quietly at the side, his heart full,